So, you procrastinated and haven't studied yet, cramming for your AP Bio exam. In this video, we will go over the basics of biochemistry. Keep in mind, these videos should not be your only resource, but a good review of the big ideas and connections from this unit. Let's get started.
The objectives for our chemistry study are to describe the basic properties of matter and how they demonstrate chemical properties, as well as describing the types of chemical bonds and how they determine the chemical properties of biologically important molecules, especially water.
Let's start with the basic properties of matter. The atom is the smallest unit of matter, and its structure includes the nucleus and the electron cloud. In the nucleus, you'll find the positive proton and the neutral neutron, but in the electron cloud, you'll find the small negative electrons.
When you're looking at a diagram, protons will indicate the element, neutrons will indicate the isotope of the element, and the electrons will be indicating the charge.
Now on to bonding. Bonding has a lot to do with the electron behavior. Electrons exist in orbitals and bonds form to stabilize orbitals. Pretty much the octet rule describes how the first level of electron should have two valence electrons in the shell, but then the second level should have 8. So that's how it fills the octet rule. Then if a molecule loses or gains electrons in bonding, then that would be ionic. But if they share the electrons, that would be covalent bonding.
When talking about elements, the most abundant ones found in our bodies are carbon, which are the basis of all macromolecules, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, which is a constituent of amino acids, which are making up proteins.
These molecules altogether make up 96% of the human body chemistry. Now on to water. The structure of water is 2 hydrogen molecules and 1 oxygen, and that they bond with covalent bonds. And then water is polar because oxygen is slightly more electronegative than hydrogen, which means that the molecule itself has 2 poles where 1 is negative. And then also, water molecules themselves form hydrogen bonds, and this allows for a property called high specific heat, which means that water can absorb a lot of energy before increasing temperature.
Some other properties of water are cohesion, where water sticks to itself, adhesion, where water will stick to other polar surfaces, think like water beads on like a waxy car or something like that. Capillary action, where water attracts adhesively to the walls of a tube in order to move upward against gravity like in a plant, and that water is a universal solvent, which means it will dissolve other things. In our early Earth, before life, there was extreme heat and vaporized water, but the atmosphere had water, CO2, NH3, and other nitrogen molecules. So volcanoes had sulfur, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, sulfide, and carbon. And so there was no oxygen in the atmosphere, and one way to model this, one way to model how the atmosphere might have been on early Earth was that Miller and Urey performed an experiment to test this reducing environment hypothesis, because if there's no oxygen in the atmosphere, that meant that it was a reducing environment. But from then, we found that organic molecules are all carbon-based, and organic molecules were believed to only be produced by living organisms, or to be living organisms. But then also enzymes are important because they polymerize molecules and they speed up reactions and reaction times by lowering activation energies. And one of the earliest enzymes would have been clay. So the first cell would have been a protocell, and the structure would be lipid, macromolecule, clay is the enzyme, and that equals a cell. What you can see from that is that lipids have hydrophobic tails, which allow macromolecules to be separated from water, because water tends to separate polymers via hydrolysis, because if they add a water molecule, the polymer will
break apart. So having lipids there to separate the macromolecules from water allowed for a cell.
So what they learned from this was that RNA was the first self-replicating molecule on Earth, which means there was RNA before there was DNA, and that we can then have natural selection, which means that the molecules that could best replicate and self-replicate did, and therefore continued on and lived. There's also the concept of bioenergetics and free energy. So in this, there's two types of energy: potential energy and kinetic energy.
The first and second law of thermodynamics. So the first law of thermodynamics states that heat is a form of energy, and thermodynamic processes are therefore subject to the principle of conservation of energy. This means that heat energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can, however, be transferred from one location to another and converted to and from other forms of energy. So this pretty much means that energy and energy can't be created or destroyed. It's just always there, but it's transferred from different forms.
So in the transferring of forms, you have the second law of thermodynamics, which states that the total entropy of an isolated system can never decrease over time. The total entropy of a system and its surroundings can remain constant in ideal cases when the system is in thermodynamic equilibrium or is undergoing a reversible process. So this just means that with every exchange of energy, entropy increases in the universe.
And entropy is kind of just like chaos, like it's just irregular and it just keeps increasing, it won't decrease. But then two important things to note about energy is about bonding. So when bonds break, energy is released, but energy is needed to form bonds. On to macromolecules.
One of the four macromolecules are carbs. Carbs have a monomer of simple sugars with carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in a 1:2 to 1 ratio. The main function of carbs are for long-term storage of energy, as simple sugars can be used for immediate energy, but then the energy can also be stored long-term. Carbs can be found in plants and animals, and in animals it's found as glycogen, and then in plants it's found as starch.
Now for lipids. The structure of lipids is triglycerides, which means that it contains glycerol and 3 fatty acids, which can either be saturated or unsaturated. So the functions of lipids are also for long-term energy storage, but they're found in the cell membrane with the phospholipid bilayer, which means that there are hydrophobic tails, which fear water, and those are on the inside, and then hydrophilic heads, which like water. Also, the polymers that lipids are included in are cholesterol, and also they're the backbone of the steroid hormones, as well as they're found in waxes and lipids.
Another macromolecule is proteins, and proteins are made up of amino acids joined together by peptide bonds. There are 4 levels of protein structure, and each has like a different purpose that can be derived from that different level. There are multiple different functions of proteins, including structure, hormones, immunity, transport, movement, enzymes, receptors, and storage.
The last macromolecule is nucleic acids. Nucleic acids, the monomer is a nucleotide, which is made up of a phosphate, a 5-carbon sugar, and a nitrogenous base. The 5 different types of nucleotides are adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine, which are all found in DNA, but in RNA, uracil replaces thymine. So then the bonds that they form are phosphodiester between the 3-carbon and the adjacent phosphate, but then also they form hydrogen bonds between the complementary base pairs. So A pairs with T and U, and then C pairs with G. Their function is to store and transmit genetic information, which pretty much means that the nucleic acids, which form nucleotides, makes up DNA, which is our hereditary information.